Hi guys, Unit Zero here. Today I'm going to be discussing the Marvel Snap economy. Virtually every game out there with a free-to-play model has different in-game currencies and various methods to transfer your real-world money into in-game currency and assets. Marvel Snap is no exception. The game has 4 types of currencies: gold, credits, the newly introduced collector's tokens, and boosters. For this video, we'll be focusing on the first 3 types of currencies. Boosters are used along with credits to upgrade cards and are obtained just by playing the game. So unless you only play the game very sparingly, the other currencies are indefinitely more valuable and will generally serve as a bottleneck to progression within your account. So we'll be focusing the discussion on credits, gold, collector's tokens, and the translation of time and real-world money into these in-game currencies. First, we have gold. This is the only currency that can be directly purchased with real-world money at the moment. As with a lot of things in life, purchasing in larger quantities nets you a better deal, as seen here. For this video, we'll be talking about US currency and prices, so the math may be slightly different if you live in another region. This 8,000 gold bundle for basically $100 or 80 gold per dollar represents the best deal, and we'll be using this best case scenario as the basis for our discussion. If you're spending in the game in lower increments, know that your numbers will be slightly less efficient. Now, gold can also be used to buy cosmetics, but we'll be focusing on what many players care about the most, and that is progressing your account to acquire new cards. Our second in-game currency is credits. These serve as the main currency to progress your account by upgrading cards, thereby increasing your collection level and unlocking collector's reserves that contain a variety of different rewards. Players are given 50 free credits daily just for logging in, and up to 450 for completing the daily missions. Further credits can be purchased with gold, up to 650 per day, for a total of 520 gold, or the equivalent of $6.50. A further 450 credits can be acquired by refreshing daily missions in the shop 3 times a day for another 360 gold, or 450. In total, expect 500 credits per day for a pure free-to-play player, and up to 1600 credits per day for a whale or max spender, assuming you're logging in every day and completing your missions. Furthermore, there are weekly challenges that net rewards for completing daily missions. Completing at least 25 missions per week will net you 1350 credits and 200 gold every week, bringing the free-to-play total to 4850 per week and the whale total to 12,550 per week, which costs about $77. The Season Pass adds a further source of in-game currency. The current Power Cosmic Pass for December 2022 nets 2300 credits and 300 gold for the free-to-play player, while players who buy the pass for about $10 will receive a total of 2600 credits and 1200 gold, in addition to the Season Pass cards and some cosmetics. So when all is said and done, this is the total monthly income players can expect. These numbers are for 4-week periods, so not exactly a month, but you get the idea. 21,700 credits and 1100 gold for free-to-play, or 23,075 in effective total credits. You're essentially earning $230 worth of in-game currency for playing the game daily and completing all your missions in the Season Pass. Whales get a total of 52,800 credits and 2,000 gold, or 55,300 in effective total credits for spending $318 over the 4 weeks. Now, how do all these credits and spending translate into in-game assets? Once you get to collection level 1000, there are 12 levels between collector's reserves, or 600 credits per reserve. If you're new to the game, you'll be progressing at a faster rate initially, but we're going to talk about the long-term expectations here. So with all the credits and gold gained over the course of a month, free-to-play players can expect to open about 38 reserves, while whales can open about 92 reserves at the base level. As you may have noticed, we haven't even touched the third currency, collector's tokens, yet, but we'll get to that in a bit. These are the drop rates for various rewards from the reserves. If you have all Series 3 cards, that 22.25% chance that a Series 3 card is replaced with 400 collector's tokens. Once again, we're talking about the long-term rate of progression here, so we'll assume a complete Series 3 collection for this exercise and discuss the rate of Series 4 and 5 card acquisition. If you didn't know, Series 4 and Series 5 will represent the latest cards released in the game, with Series 5 cards being much rarer than those in Series 4. So, for all the collector's reserves you'll open over the course of a month, free-to-play players get about 1 Series 4 or 5 card, 4,330 tokens, 760 gold, and 1,900 credits. Whales will get about 2.5 new cards, 10,480 collector's tokens, 1,840 gold, and 4,600 credits. Of course there's going to be some variance here, but those are just the averages. Both whales and free-to-play players can expect to open a few more reserves with the gold and credit refunds given by the boxes, but it doesn't change the math on new card acquisition all that much. With Series 4 cards currently costing 3,000 collector's tokens, and Series 5 cards costing 6,000 tokens, when all said and done, free-to-play players should expect to average only about 2 new cards a month. Even max spenders will find it tough to keep up with the new card releases if all new cards start out in Series 5. They will receive the Season Pass card and may not get any cards from the collection track at all if they're only missing Series 5 cards. Whales will also find it difficult to buy more than 2 Series 5 cards every month, meaning that they're likely missing out on one of the 4 cards released monthly. Other than the Season Pass card, getting a new card on release is going to be roughly equivalent to about $100 in real-world currency. Now, there are a few missing pieces to the discussion here. Second Dinner does introduce bundles periodically that represent good value and a way to more efficiently acquire gold and credits, as well as one of the few sources of collector's tokens. It's likely that max spenders will be able to gather enough resources to acquire all the cards on release if they also buy the bundles that include collector's tokens. That also means that they'll need to spend quite a bit more than the $318 figure calculated just a bit ago. For example, the current Sunspot bundle costs $75 if you were to buy it with gold purchased with real money. Even after spending all the credits, you're going to obtain only about half the number of tokens to buy a new Series 5 card. But for whales, this may be the best way to spend over converting gold to credits, since collector's tokens are likely to be the rarest and most valuable in-game currency moving forward. If all new cards do indeed start out at Series 5, credits may become nearly worthless for a player who is only missing Series 5 cards, since the chance of pulling a card from a collector's reserve are astronomically low. The other missing piece is the rate at which cards will downgrade from Series 5 to Series 4 and from Series 4 to Series 3. Before the token shop was introduced to the game, Season Pass cards, for instance, would be added to Series 3 2 months after release. With the introduction of the token shop, the last Season Pass card, Black Panther, was added to Series 5 after the pass ended. It is yet to be seen how these cards will move down to be more accessible to free-to-play players, but the expectation is that it's likely going to take at least 2 months to get the new card unless you're willing to spend your hard-earned collector's tokens to get them. Now, the point of this video is not to complain or rant about the rate of progression and the prices in this game. I'm just here to give a realistic expectation on how people can interact with the new card releases moving forward. If you want to get the latest cards, it certainly won't be cheap, but if you're willing to wait, you'll probably get the cards eventually, albeit a few months after release. Free-to-play players can't realistically expect to get very many of the newest cards, and you're going to have to save up resources for quite a while and be very selective with how you spend your collector's tokens, given that you may only be able to get a new card via the shop every month or so. Unless you're a whale, you're going to have to get used to not being able to experience the latest content. This may seem a bit strange to players who have come from other card games, but keep in mind that Marvel Snap doesn't release large sets of cards, and even at a rate of 1 new card a week, they're going to be releasing about 50 cards per year, which is much fewer than your traditional card game. So each new card introduced into the game is quote-unquote more valuable in a sense. For another reference point, let's compare the current model to the previous monetization model, NEXUS events. For newer players who were not around during the game's closed beta, NEXUS events were the old way of introducing new cards into the game. It represented a gacha-style mechanic where players could spend gold for a chance at acquiring a new card, along with some limited-time cosmetic items. The first and only NEXUS event featured Destroyer, which was already in the game at the time, and a new card in Jane Foster Thor. Each pull cost 180 gold, and the chances of obtaining a card was only 1.5%. That 1.5% also included a chance to pull a variant of either Jane Foster or Destroyer, and there was a 50 pull pity timer baked into the event. So if you happened to pull 49 times without getting a card, your 50th pull would guarantee a card or a variant of either Jane Foster or Destroyer. As most players were aiming for the new card, people were averaging the equivalent of over $100 in gold together with this system. In the worst case scenario, you would spend over $330 in gold just to get Jane Foster. If you were free to play, you basically just had to ignore this event entirely because you likely wouldn't even have enough gold to hit the pity timer. This model proved so unpopular and generated quite the backlash from the player base, so Second Dinner scrapped this format entirely, and that's how he arrived at the current card release model. In comparison, it's obvious the new model is an improvement in terms of pricing. Not only is it cheaper to acquire new cards, but there isn't any variance in how much you need to spend, and players now have more agency over how their spending translates into in-game assets. With that said, it is still quite expensive to get new cards on release in Marvel Snap. You're going to need to be smart with how you spend your in-game resources, specifically your gold and collector's tokens. If you decide to spend on non-progression related items like variants, expect to slow down your rate of card acquisition significantly. Ultimately, it's up to you how to enjoy the game, and just like with real life money, you can spend your in-game money on whatever gives you the most satisfaction. Just keep in mind that getting everything right away is going to be a very unrealistic goal for 99% of you out there. I hope this video is helpful and gives you a better idea of what to expect from Marvel Snap moving forward. If you have any other thoughts on the game economy or things you'd like to see changed or improved, leave a comment down below. Also consider subscribing for more Marvel Snap content. Anyways, that's it for me guys. Thanks for watching the video and see you guys next time.